So it looks like Xbox is in much bigger trouble than we originally reported. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, is weighing in now, and he's saying that YouTubers who stream Xbox games are probably making more profit than Microsoft is. Ouch. That means there are absolutely layoffs coming, and I have to wonder if Xbox isn't in the end game now. If it's like, look, if the new CEO Ashish Sharma can't turn Xbox around, will they just shut the whole damn thing down? I mean, if it's not making any money for them, a guy like Satya Nadella, he's not attached to Xbox. It did not get introduced on his watch. He does not care. I don't think the only thing he seems to care about is AI and Copilot and his babies. And that's usually how it is with CEOs, right? They have their pet projects that they care about, and then as soon as there's a change at the top, it switches over to some other thing that they chase. But right now, they're all about AI. In fact, Ashish Sharma, her background is in AI, and he's coming out and saying Xbox makes no money. That's pretty damning. This is not something you want to be saying when your shareholders are looking at you like, why are you shoveling trillions of dollars into AI that's not profitable, and you've got this Xbox thing, it's not making money. So all these things are connected. We're going to talk about Kotaku, which has actually been doing a journalism today. It's crazy. They've been covering this. They're talking about a whole bunch of studios that are probably going to get shuttered because of this. And of course, they were saying before that there were going to be layoffs incoming probably the end of June, beginning of July. And he's basically saying, yeah, we're done messing around. The bill is due. Xbox has to pay for itself, or something is going to happen. So let's talk about this before we get into it any further. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys, including video game news. Go out to more.clownfishtv.com. That's more.clownfishtv.com for more Clownfish TV for episodes you will not find here on YouTube. And also check out the audio version of Clownfish TV. We have several audio podcasts out there that you can listen to. Take us with you on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, Amazon, all that. All right, so this is what we're going to talk about, and this kind of segues into everything else. All the studios that they're supposedly going to shut down is coming from Kotaku. Microsoft CEO complains about poor gaming profits. There's more monetization of Xbox games happening on YouTube. Xbox has to pursue economically viable growth. They said, are we at a big inflection point for Xbox, or is Microsoft just going to double down on what it's been doing until things magically turn around, or it decides to spin off the gaming business altogether? That's what they're talking. They said that they might just decide Xbox is its own company and it has to sink or swim on its own. A lot of these companies, a lot of these game studios, a lot of these animation studios, comic book companies, they're being subsidized by their parent corporations. And if they were allowed to sink or swim on their own, they would definitely sink, right? You can't tell me that Marvel Comics would be able to stay in business if Disney wasn't bankrolling it. Not for a nanosecond. I don't believe that. There's no way. And it looks like this might be the case for Xbox too. They said some of the questions that has arisen out of the recent whiplash between a great Xbox showcase last weekend and a harsh memo from the Xbox CEO, Ashish Sharma, promising a reset later that same week. This is her boss telling her what he expects. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella was asked what the model will be for its gaming business moving forward during a recent live event. And while he didn't offer many fresh clues, he certainly sounded disappointed that Xbox is so bad at making money. The challenge now is for us to think about, how do you innovate both in hardware as well as in the games going forward in a world in an economically viable way? He told, let's see, this is on stage at the New York Times Hard Fork. Yeah, somebody's getting hard forked. The Hard Fork event on June 10th. I think one of the things that Asha, who has just taken over Xbox, put out is we've invested a lot. No one can accuse Microsoft of not having invested for the last 25 years. And now we have to turn this into a sustainable business that delivers what is fundamentally one of the best sources of entertainment. So he's basically saying, hey, for 25 years, we've been subsidizing Xbox and it's not working out and things are actually getting worse for them. Things are getting worse for Xbox. Last holiday season was terrible for console sales, and Xbox was like dead last. Nobody cares. And they keep raising the prices of the console. This is why, because he's decided that Xbox has to pay for itself. We can't subsidize it anymore. He continued, still the challenge we have is we've not been monetizing that entertainment. In fact, if anything, we've been subsidizing that entertainment. In fact, there's more monetization of Xbox games happening on YouTube than at Microsoft. And so that doesn't mean we go do things that are unnatural. We want us to do what is really our job, which is to build great games, build great hardware, but we've got to do it in an economically sustainable way. So I think Asha is really 100 days in. She put out a post saying in the next 100 days, she's going to take a fresh look and make sure we deliver on what our fans expect of us, both on the hardware side or on the publishing side. I think they're going to outsource the hardware. I don't think it makes sense for a company the size of Microsoft that wants to basically print money. You get to a place with a company, especially a tech company, they just want to print money. They don't want to have the overhead, right, of dealing with hardware. I could totally see them being like, you know what, we're going to give the license to whatever, Samsung or somebody. They're going to make our Xbox boxes. They can make them however they want to. Here are the specs. We'll provide them with games. We'll make the deals, whatever. Because I know there's a lot of questions around Project Helix, which is this new console supposedly that's coming. I think they might kill it. I don't know, because, you know, given how expensive hardware is right now and memory is, like this thing is going to cost like $1,200, $1,500 the way they're, and who's going to pay that, right? I just don't see people doing that. They said the context around the discussion was Sharma's unprecedentedly frank announcement last week that Xbox's current accountability margins are only 3%, meaning that all the money currently being spent on the business would actually be more profitable sitting in index funds somewhere. That is okay. That is super important. People don't understand the return on investment. They don't understand how these mega corporations think. Square said this too. Square said, we greenlight games based on what the return on investment is going to be. And if it's going to make more money, if our millions of dollars, if our, 150, $200 million we're going to spend on a new RPG or whatever would actually make us more money just sitting in a fund somewhere, then that's what we do. We don't make new games then. And this is part of the reason why we're not getting a whole bunch of new games from Square like every other month, because they cost so damn much to make, right? And Disney, people were mad about Disney Infinity getting shut down. Disney realized that it was making profit on Disney Infinity, but it would make more profit if they just outsourced all their games to EA. And that's what they did. So, it's possible they could just outsource the Xbox name. I don't know. Because I'm like, how do you actually maximize your profit on this when, especially in the hardware side, it's a losing proposition. And he's basically saying Microsoft has subsidized Xbox for 25 years. YouTubers are making more money than we are off of Xbox. That is a hell of a place to be. And again, this company's up against it. They've got a lot of recent backlash over Copilot and Windows 11 and the amounts of money they're spending on AI. They may just push the nuke button. I have no idea. I mean, it sounds to me like he's committed to it, but he's kind of like, how do we do this without costing anything out of pocket? Like the other business divisions cannot be bankrolling Xbox games. It's a stupid way to spend money. He didn't share a solution. Okay. He said, I think we have to find ways to deliver the games in which it's economically relevant for the customer and for us. So today there's an issue. In fact, unfortunately, because of what's happening with the cloud and AI, the prices have gone up. It's happening with PCs, it's happening with phones. Xbox is impacted as well. So the scarcity of the semiconductor supply, memory in particular, have been a massive impact on consumer electronics all up. That's a temporal thing that I think we'll get through. It's not going to be permanent, but there's a permanent thing, which is what's the Xbox model going forward? If you think about PCs and consoles, both have their place. Obviously, mobile has people playing elsewhere. So we have to now bring all that together while staying true to what we've always done. This sounds to me like Xbox is going to be a thing that you play games on, and it might be manufactured by a bunch of people, is what it sounds like. Like a Windows, a computer that can run Windows. It'll be like, here's a game console. We want a manufacturer that can run Xbox games on it. We're going to make this TV that can run or has Roku built in. Our TV is going to have Xbox built into it. It sounds to me like he's thinking what she's talking about, what he's thinking are two different things. He might be thinking like it's more profitable just to license out the Xbox name and call it a day, because what the hell are we going to do? Just keep, burning money on consoles? Who the hell is going to buy a $1,200, $1,500 console now? Especially if the games aren't exclusive, right? They said there are a couple different ways to interpret all this. The first is this is just some media train gobbledygook. The second is that Microsoft doesn't know the answers, and they're not prepared to start signaling big strategy shifts until it's completed the latest round of mass layoffs. It's not looking good. They're going to lay a bunch of people off. They're going to shut a bunch of studios down. They said here are some other reads. Nadella is getting impatient that Xbox has been given over $80 billion in capital to acquire studios and publishers over the last decade and is still in third place with terrible profit margins. Valve collects commissions by selling other people's games on Steam. YouTube has a massive ad business built around creators making content around games, many of which were shipped by Microsoft. And here is the company that is on the cusp of the next console generation with a mode of its own, a lasting structural advantage to help it make lots of money over the next 5 years. They have all this stuff: Candy Crush, Call of Duty, Game Pass, xCloud, etc., but they can't make money themselves. This is crazy. So there's some other articles out there, again on Kotaku, saying that they're in talks to close Double Fine and Ninja Theory, which just revealed this new game. They don't care. Like, these companies are not in a place to spend $200 million on a game anymore. They're not even at a place to spend $100 million or $50 million. They want to make like $1 million games. They have to be looking at Hollywood right now and what's going on in the indie space, the YouTube space, and being like, some YouTuber put a movie out for like $750,000, Obsession, right? I think that's the one that was cheap, right? Yeah, $1 million. It made tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever it's made so far off of this movie. And they're probably like, why can't we apply that to games? Why can't we spend $1 million on a game and make $100 million in profit, right? That's what the shareholders expect. It's not supposed to be upside down. Like, we are, I'm telling you, we're in the middle of a video game crash right now. And I think everybody knows it. Just look at the layoffs, look at the shutdowns. And what got us here was overspending on games, overspending on these AAA titles that don't bring a return on investment. At the end of the day, you have to recoup your money and then some if you want to stay in business. That is like business 101. You cannot be upside down. And Xbox is upside down right now. Warner Brothers was upside down. They spent $200 million on Suicide Squad. Sony's spending insane amounts of money on games. They're not getting a return on that. But meanwhile, you've got like Pow World, which is like this indie thing, and it's making all kinds of money. Stellar Blade wasn't super expensive. It's making all kinds of money. So they're going to shut studios down. So they're saying Double Fine, which is a damn shame because they've been around for a long time and they make good stuff. Double Fine, Compulsion Games, Ninja Theory are currently in danger of closure, with employees able to seek new work as leaders negotiate and try to save what they can, according to Bloomberg. I said earlier today, we reported that Xbox was preparing to shutter South of Midnight developer Compulsion Games, with studio leadership in active negotiations to determine the studio's fate. Bloomberg has since reported that both Psychonauts maker Double Fine and Hellblade developer Ninja Theory are in similar situations, despite the latter having just revealed a new game for release next year. They're going to shut a bunch of stuff down. So this is, South of Midnight Studio, Compulsion Games. They have We Happy Few, too. We played that. That was actually pretty good. Yeah. It's over, man. Like, I think this is it. I think this is, you get your shit together, you start making some money, or we shut down Xbox or outsource it or sell it or something. But it's not looking good. I mean, when you've got the CEO vocalizing his disappointment in the performance of that branch of the company and saying it's got to be sustainable or else the end is near. It's over, man. Something big is going to change, and I don't think it's going to go the way these Xbox stands think it's going to go. They're going to be like, it's fine, guys. This means they're going to commit to making Xbox like it used to be back in the day. I'm like, no, we're in a very different situation in 2026 than we were in 2006. Okay. And Microsoft is, again, all about just printing money, printing profit, shoveling more money into AI. They don't give a shit about Xbox. I think this is the Hail Mary. I think this is the last chance Xbox is getting. If it does not work out, I think we're looking at the end of Xbox. That's my personal opinion. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Please subscribe. We'll talk later.